From the heights of the British Empire to valiant victories in world wars, Britain's military was for centuries a feared and formidable symbol of power. Today, however, what was once a bastion of strength is now a shadow of its former self, struggling to maintain relevance on the world stage. And as conflicts escalate around the globe, Britain is fast becoming a nation unable to defend itself at home or abroad. But to understand Britain's 21st century defense crisis, we need to take a step back in time. Welcome to Living History. The British Empire remains one of history's most expansive and influential, spanning continents and shaping the modern world. At its zenith, Britain was a global superpower, with territories stretching across the Americas, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. This empire was driven by ambitions of wealth and influence, succeeding through military might and naval supremacy. Its impact extended far beyond territorial boundaries, leaving a lasting legacy on culture, language, law, and governance. And while its collapse in the mid-20th century marked the end of an era, its influence continues to reverberate across the globe, shaping geopolitics, economics, and societies to this day. And yet, somehow, Britain's military power now hovers around a tenth of what it used to be. How the mighty have fallen. While the British Empire leveraged its military might to expand and maintain control over vast territories, modern Britain grapples with a shrinking defence budget, outdated equipment, and manpower shortages. In fact, the UK's defence budget has steadily decreased over the years, falling by around 10% over the past decade alone. This has resulted in significant challenges for the armed forces, including personnel shortages. In fact, the British Army is now operating with the lowest troop levels in decades, at around 75,000, and with only 150,000 military personnel overall. But if that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. Outdated equipment poses additional hurdles, with a significant portion of the UK's military hardware nearing or even past the end of its operational lifespan. Just consider this: a rising number of the Royal Air Force's aircraft fleet is considered obsolete or aging, highlighting the urgent need for modernization efforts to keep up with rapid technological advancement. Furthermore, aging aircraft are limited in speed, stealth, and sensor capabilities, leading to concerns about Britain's ability to effectively deter potential adversaries and fulfill its commitments to international security alliances. And then there's the Empire's once mighty Royal Navy. Once known for its formidable fleets, it is now struggling to maintain a presence in key maritime regions. Its 2 aircraft carriers continue to malfunction and break down, including during a recent joint exercise with the US and Canadian Navy. But it wasn't always like this. Across 2 world wars, Britain showcased its military might on a global scale. In World War I, Britain's armed forces mobilized with impressive numbers, including over 2,000 tanks, marking a pivotal moment in the history of mechanized warfare. The Royal Flying Corps, precursor to the RAF, took to the skies with over 2,500 aircraft, providing crucial air support and reconnaissance capabilities. During World War II, Britain's military power had grown further still, and the British Navy commanded the largest and most powerful fleet in the world, with battleships, cruisers, and aircraft carriers that projected British power across the globe. Not only that, but the Royal Navy's control of the seas was key in securing vital supply lines and supporting sea assaults from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Britain's military-industrial complex also churned out vast quantities of weaponry and equipment, including 1.5 million rifles and artillery pieces, over 130,000 aircraft, advanced radar systems, and code-breaking machines. This industrial might, coupled with the bravery and determination of British servicemen and women, ensured that Britain remained a formidable military force throughout the tumultuous years of World War II and beyond. But fast forward to the present day, and even domestic military production has now fallen significantly to around 1 to 2%. Annual small arms production has decreased from tens of thousands to just a few thousand firearms each year, representing a decline of over 90%. Similarly, the production of aircraft has seen a significant decline. increase, with fewer than 20 combat aircraft manufactured annually. Hardly the level you would expect from a country that sees itself as a world power now, is it? In fact, Britain's military is now dangerously limited in its ability to respond to emerging threats and conflicts. What was once a feared military presence is now floundering, downsized, and struggling to glue together outdated equipment and insufficient weaponry, which isn't exactly the most reliable defense policy, if it could be considered one at all. Here is the big surprise, though. According to The Economist, Britain has the biggest defense budget in Europe, slightly ahead of both France and Germany, and unlike them, it has never dipped below NATO's target of spending at least 2% of its GDP on defense. And yet, a report released in December by the National Audit Office, NAO, an independent spending watchdog, deemed Britain's recently updated defense equipment plan to be unaffordable, citing a staggering cost increase to £306 billion and revealing a significant black hole of £17 billion, a figure the NAO believes still underestimates the true extent of Britain's military problem. But why is Britain struggling to finance its military? Escalating costs associated with the Defense Nuclear Organization, particularly from the development of new attack submarines, 4 dreadnought ballistic missile submarines, and a new nuclear warhead are part of the strain, but by far not the only reason behind this sorry state. The fact is that Britain has actually grappled with the challenge of balancing military spending with economic constraints for decades. In the aftermath of World War II, the country faced significant financial burdens and had to prioritize rebuilding its economy and infrastructure over maintaining a large military force. Similarly, today, the need to invest in defense capabilities competes with other pressing domestic priorities, such as healthcare, education, the cost of living crisis, high government debt, and social welfare programs. Still, it is true that advancements in technology have revolutionized the nature of warfare, presenting both opportunities and challenges for modern military forces. Throughout history, Britain was at the forefront of technological innovations in warfare, from the development of radar during World War II to the integration of cyber capabilities in modern conflicts. However, adapting to today's new forms of warfare requires continuous investment in research and development, training, and organizational reforms. Moreover, as opponents like China, Russia, and Iran leverage technology to asymmetrically target advanced military capabilities, Britain has fallen behind as their investments robustly outpace development and production. So, what does disarming mean for Britain and its place in the international community? First, the reduction in military capabilities poses strategic vulnerabilities, leaving the nation susceptible to various security risks. With fewer resources devoted to defense, Britain may find itself less equipped to respond effectively to emerging threats, whether they stem from traditional adversaries, cyber warfare, or asymmetric conflicts. This heightened vulnerability not only compromises national security, but also undermines the stability of the broader geopolitical landscape. Secondly, the diminishing military prowess of Britain has repercussions for its global influence and role in international affairs. Historically, Britain has been a key player on the world stage, leveraging its military strength to shape diplomatic relations and exert influence across regions. However, as its military capabilities wane, so too does its ability to project power and maintain its standing as a global leader. Britain may want to talk the talk, but it can't walk the walk. This shift in dynamics could lead to a reconfiguration of international alliances and power structures, with potential ramifications for global security and stability. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, if there's anything Britain can get right anymore? As we accelerate into a pre-war world, this decline in military capability not only undermines Britain's ability to project power and influence on the world stage, but also erodes its national security and defense posture. As Britain grapples with internal challenges and external pressures, its military's decline serves as a poignant reminder of the empire's faded glory and the need for strategic adaptation in an ever-evolving global landscape. The disarmament of Britain raises new questions about the country's place on the global stage and how the nation balances its defense obligations with other domestic priorities. As resources are redirected away from defense spending, policymakers must grapple with competing demands, such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Striking the right balance between national security and social welfare becomes increasingly challenging, especially in an era characterized by complex geopolitical threats and economic uncertainties. And when it comes to the West, it isn't just military might that is under threat. For more about the challenges facing the Western world, check out our next video linked here.